Alright. So, Dolphins have a third pick. Coming back to this. What should they do with it? Still don't know. But Flores, what I think Flores can do is he can say that Tua costs him nothing. And his defense is great. And his defense is so great that Tua doesn't need to be Allen level. Or Mahomes level. Because his defense holds people to 10 points a game. Or 18 to be exact. But they don't give up points. All Tua has to do is lead him downfield to a solid 2 touchdowns. And a field goal, maybe. They can win a game 17-14. I wouldn't care, personally. The problem is you can't do that against the Packers or the Chiefs or the Bills because their offenses are explosive. And I can see where people have a problem with this because he's in a conference with very talented quarterbacks. Mahomes, Allen, Lamar Jackson. Let's throw Baker Mayfield in there, I guess. Lawrence is coming in. Fields is coming in. If they want to win, and that means if they want to win the AFC and go to the Super Bowl, you got to beat those guys. That might almost be impossible. Alright, so my plan here was to go to more recent news, talk about the Rockets, talk about a trade I would make. And I was going to say, so here's what I was basically going to say here, because this makes no sense now. Unhappiness aside, he looks like crap and is out of shape. He hasn't scored 20 plus in 4 straight games. He'd be doing himself a favor and the Rockets a favor by getting traded. And what I would have taken is Simmons and picks. So that way Sixers get Harden and Embiid. Rockets get Simmons and Wall, which is... The Sixers win that trade. But I'm going to use this and... I'm going to replace this one with... I'm going to replace this one with the Nets trade. So I gotta look further into detail there. Alright, let's cue the music here. Alright. So, in the Harden to Nets trade, here's all we know right now. Here's all we know. The Nets are acquiring James Harden. Alright, here's what's happening. So, the 3-way deal. Nets get Harden. Karis LeVert, Dante Exum, Karukis, 4 first-round picks, including the Cavs' 2022 first via Bucks, and 4 Nets picks swapped to Rockets. Jared Allen, Taurean Prince are going to the Cavs. Alright, so just a quick review, because that's very confusing there. So Allen, Prince are going to the Cavs. The Rockets get the Cavs' first-round pick in 2022. Exum and LeVert. And it looks like the Nets get James Harden. So they got Kyrie at the 1, Harden at the 2, Durant at the 3. I don't know who's at the 4, honestly, because they lost Allen, but they got Jordan at the 5. So it's a pretty stacked roster, but it's full of divas. I literally just talked about both Harden and Kyrie being divas. And that's why I wouldn't trade. That's why I wouldn't have made the trade. That's a crazy trade, though. That's big. We'll see how it works. It could work. I mean, a roster that stacked could work. Alright, so, moving on from that bombshell. Rogers says the Packers are a better team this year than last year. And I feel like it's always year 2 in the new system where you take the jump. Rodgers has been on the floor for 2 years, so it makes sense that they're, better. He also said the Niners were, like, a very dominant team, and that's what I kept saying to people. I did say some stuff to kind of get people a little mad at me, because I'm like, the Packers do have more experience, but the Niners were just too talented. I mean, I knew the Packers were going to win. I meant the Niners were going to win. I knew it. I kept dreaming, Packers were going to win. But Niners were always going to win. They're the best team in the NFC. It was just no one was going to stop them from winning the NFC. The only team that was going to stop them was the Chiefs. I knew that from the beginning, and they proved right. So there's a 40% chance of snowfall in Buffalo. This is why I would love a Bills vs. Packers Super Bowl. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be Chiefs-Packers, but we'll see how this week goes. Always as a Packers fan, I go into the playoffs, I'm like, all right, we're going to give a bit of a run here, NFC Championship, maybe even the Super Bowl. And then we go into the easy game, or the easy game as people would call it, and when I said easy there, I put air quotes, because it might not be an easy game, because there's always an upset, and it could be us. That's what goes through my head. Like, a couple days before the game, I'm always, like, because a week before the game, I'm like, all right, we got this. We're going to the NFC Championship. At worst, we're an NFC Championship team that goes. And then, about 3 or 4 days before the game, I'm like, well, there's always one upset. It's going to be us, isn't it? We're going to lose to the Rams with... And this is what the best part is. We're going to lose to the Rams without Aaron Donald, without Jared Goff. That's how it's going to happen. I wasn't even a Packers fan at this point, but I'm having flashbacks to when the 15-1 Packers lost to the Giants in the divisional round. And we got more breaking news. The Rockets have flipped LeVert for Oladipo. I'll talk about that later. Maybe even right now after I talk about this. Okay, so Lamar Jackson hasn't played in the snow. If you think you lose footing in the grass, if it's slippery there, Jackson might go crazy. If you watch the interview, Lamar kind of made some jokes. He's hard not to. He's easy to root for. He's hard not to. I don't like Ravens fans. I think they're a little flamboyant and arrogant, but Lamar's an easy guy to root for. Justin Herbert's easy to root for. Tough people to root for like Ben. Big Ben is tough to root for. People with big egos. So now we gotta talk about the LeVert Oladipo swap. Oladipo had a good year, I think. He's still good. He's coming off an injury. I mean, I like LeVert a lot. I thought he would be a great fit next to Kyrie and KD. I think him and Oladipo, I think that's a fair swap. I think it's a win-win. Overall. Alright, so we are winding down here. 39-minute podcast. Not even, because I still gotta do one more thing. So, other than that, breaking news right there. This podcast went according to plan, basically. So, I'm gonna pick teams that are in even the slightest need of quarterbacks. Like, you're gonna be shocked to hear some of the names I say. Like, if you need a quarterback the slightest bit, I'm gonna see if Watson fits there. So the Bears, I'm gonna contradict myself here. I'm gonna say no, he's not a good fit with the Bears. He's played at Clemson and in Houston. He's a warm weather guy, and Chicago's a cold city. I think when you think about the supporting cast around him, it's a great fit, but not. I think it's a no. Because of the cold weather, I don't think he's used to that. It's gonna take some getting used to. For him, maybe he can fit, but nah, I'm gonna say no. The 49ers, I think this is a good fit. They had one unhealthy year this year. They're gonna be back next year. All their defensive players. This is one injury-riddled year. They should be fine next year. Also, I think he'll work well with Shanahan, and it's a warm weather state, California. San Francisco. So I think it's a great fit for him. Dolphins. I think this is an easy yes. Gesicki's a great tight end. Parker's a good receiver. Myles Gaskin's a young running back. And they have a great coach, and they have a great defense to the point where Watson isn't going to have to be scoring touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. He doesn't need to always heave it downfield and, going for home runs every time. Like, the Texans' defense is good enough to keep it, close. So even if Watson has a bad game, with the Miami defense, you can win a game 10-3, I feel like. So it's a good thing for that. That's a great fit for Watson. Jets, I'm going to give it a yes, actually. They have a lot of cap space, and they have a good receiving corps. I think Perryman and Crowder are very underrated receivers. They're way underrated. Denzel Mims looks like he's going to be a star soon. I think he's going to be coming up with Watson. And their defense and running back are pretty rough, but it's also going to. But I think they can fix that with all the draft picks they have and all the cap space they have. It's all going to depend on the coach they hire. It's going to be really big. And it doesn't help that even I don't know who they should hire. I don't think Garrett would be bad. I don't think he would be bad at all. I don't think either of them would be good at developing Sam Darnold. That's the only problem. But I think their offense is talented. I think their offense is very talented. Their defense is the problem. They need a defensive-minded coach. So, you know what? Now that I think of it, I'm going to go with Matt Eberflus for the job at the Jets. So the Broncos is a no. They have coaching instability. They didn't fire their coach yet. They're built with a power run game and some good receivers. Their defense is rough. Also, you'd be putting him in a division with Mahomes and Herbert twice a year. That's 4 games you don't want. So I'm going to go with a no for the Broncos. The New England Patriots, I'm going to say this is a great fit. Great coaching. All they need is a playmaker or a quarterback. They've shown that. All they need is a playmaker. Brady was a playmaker with the average receiving core, but a great defense. They got a good defense, I think. And once they get Watson, I think they're back to a good team. Not as good as they were with Brady, but good team. Because right now I think they're in the worst position of any of the AFC East teams. Bills are amazing. Dolphins are getting better by the second. Jets have all those draft picks, that cap space. Pats, what do they have? Nothing. You get nothing, you lose. All right. So the Steelers are in slight need of a quarterback. This should be a great fit for him. I think they're the most stable organization out of all the teams I just mentioned. They got a great coach. He's a defensive-minded coach, but he's a good coach. Their defense is great. And they're their most stable organization. They got Deontay Johnson. They got Chase Claypool, who looks like he's good. Smith-Schuster's good. I know we don't like his TikToking, but he's good. Their offensive line is good. So, that's a great fit for Watson. He would do very well there. Alright. So, there is literally there's 40, we almost have 45 seconds here. Alright. So, this was Dylan Miller on not 91.3 anymore. On Daily Dose of Dylan, and I will see you tomorrow. Signing out.